Gilbert Newton Lewis was born October 23, 1875 in Weymouth, Massachusetts. Only child of Mary Burr White Lewis and Frank Wesley Lewis, Gilbert was homeschooled as a child in Massachusetts and Nebraska. After being homeschooled, he attended the University of Nebraska at Lincoln for 2 years, followed by completing his bachelor's degree at Harvard University. Lewis also completed his master's and doctoral degrees at Harvard University. Between earning his bachelor's and master's degrees, Lewis taught at the Phillips Academy in Andover, Massachusetts for 1 year. He then returned to Harvard, completed his master's and doctoral degrees, and stayed on to teach at Harvard for another year. Postgraduate work became available in Germany under Wilhelm Ostwald and Walther Nernst, and Lewis pursued this for 1 year. During this year, Lewis had a falling out with Walther Nernst, and they developed a lifelong dislike of one another, often trying to discredit each other's work. After his research in Germany, Lewis went on to instruct for 3 years at Harvard, 1 year on the Philippine Islands, and 7 years at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He finally settled into a 34-year tenure at the University of California at Berkeley as permanent dean of the College of Chemistry and chair of the Department of Chemistry until his death. Lewis died on March 23, 1946 in Berkeley, California. He had been working in his lab with liquid hydrogen cyanide when deadly fumes from a broken line leaked into the lab. He was found dead under a workbench by a student. His official cause of death was ruled to be coronary artery disease, but some theorized that Lewis's death was no accident and that, because of a tendency to disgruntle his colleagues and the depression that followed so many Nobel Prize nominations but never winning one, he took his own life and staged it to look like an accident. One of the most puzzling parts of Lewis's life is his lack of a Nobel Prize. He was nominated not just 1 time, but 41 times for a Nobel Prize, yet he was awarded none. However, some of those that he worked closely with were awarded Nobel Prizes themselves. His doctoral advisor at Harvard, Theodore William Richards, was the first American to be awarded the Nobel Prize, which he won for his work on atomic weights in 1914. In 1934, Lewis's student Harold C. Urey won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his discovery of heavy water. In 1951, another student, Glenn T. Seaborg, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his investigation into 10 transuranium elements. A third student of Lewis's, William Francis Giacche, won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1949 for his contributions in the field of chemical thermodynamics, particularly concerning the behavior of substances at extremely low temperatures. There are 2 major contributions for which Lewis is known. In his April 1916 publication, The Atom and the Molecule, Lewis proposed valence bond theory and Lewis structures. Valence bond theory has developed from Lewis's first proposal of it, but it all begins with the atom. Lewis theorized that cubes with 1 electron in each of the 8 corners build up in a series to compose an atom. This cubic atom explained the cycle of 8 elements in the periodic table and was in accord with the widely accepted belief that chemical bonds were formed by transfer of electrons to give each atom a complete set of 8. This is now known as the octet rule. Lewis formulated the idea of the covalent bond and defined the term odd molecule, which is now known as free radical, with its proposed Lewis structures. The odd molecule occurs when an electron is not shared between atoms or molecules. Lewis structures are diagrams that show the bonding between atoms of a molecule and the lone pairs of electrons that may exist in the molecule. They extended the concept of the electron dot diagram by showing shared pairs in a chemical bond. Gilbert Lewis didn't necessarily give explicit steps to constructing Lewis structures, and there are several different ways to do so today. Depending on personal preference, skill, molecule complexity, and other factors, some ways to construct these structures may be better than others. Lewis structures can be drawn for both basic and complex molecules, ranging from diatomic hydrogen to adenosine triphosphate and beyond. Gilbert Newton Lewis is one of chemistry's most important and distinguished Americans, even though he never won a Nobel Prize. Lewis structures and valence bond theory are used all across science, from basic high school chemistry to advanced theoretical physics. From a homeschooled kid growing up in Nebraska to the permanent dean of the College of Chemistry and chair of the esteemed Department of Chemistry at UC Berkeley, This man made great strides within the field of chemistry that modern chemists will always thank him for.